Sometimes you have to make things more expensive to make them trustworthy.
If you know how to tell a story, you know how to brand. And if you know how to brand, then it will sell.
You gotta take the emotion out of anything when you're dealing with business.
Right.
Whenever you put your emotion in the business or money, you're gonna lose out.
We should start really evaluating opportunities based on the bigger picture.
I personally know dozens of creators who have millions of followers or have generated billions of views, yet they're struggling financially because you don't get paid for views.
Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about YouTube getting rid of a very important feature and how it will impact all of us. DJ Khaled has
another one,
but this time it has to deal with golfing. Is the creator economy real? Are we really making money? Is views really counting to our bank accounts? We're gonna really talk about that. And then, should you do 50-50 deals or not? Moose, how are we feeling about this episode?
I like this episode. This is right up our alley. I'm talking about some branding and business stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Let's get into this intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And of course, this episode is powered by Ecamm Live, the #1 all-in-one streaming platform that not only allows you to stream on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the social media platforms all at once, but it also does an amazing job for pre-recorded videos to where you get video isolation, audio isolation, transitions, text, you name it, it has it. And we're giving 14 days for free on us if you go to www.nickyandmoose.com/ecamm, that's ECAMM, and get that 14-day trial on us. Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, feeling pretty good. It's been a good week.
No black shirt today? No black shirt?
I switched up on them. I said, you know what? Let me do white. It's
okay. Clean white tee.
Yeah.
No. It shows fresh. I do this.
Like a little more summer. Like I'm ready to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in summer vibes.
Breathable.
We're still on the breathable.
We're still on the breathable. I gotta stay consistent.
You are very adamant about this breathable.
Oh man, I love these materials. Yeah, breathable is legit. But yeah, we here. Summertime. Almost summertime, I guess. Yeah.
It's not summertime yet?
Well, it's in the official summer start June 21st, according to the calendar, I believe.
I don't know. I've been feeling hot this whole time.
Really?
It's just...
And now, it's still a little bipolar out here. Like, still waking up at 50, then it's the 70-something by the afternoon with a little bit of wind still. So, yeah, it's not officially hot.
I will say today was hoodie weather. Today was definitely hoodie weather. Mm-hmm. I will say that.
Yeah.
But
fair enough.
Hence why I have my creator hoodie on. But still, there's a lot more hot days than hoodie days, though. Oh, well, baby, where I live.
I would say not yet.
I'm sorry.
Yet. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, not yet.
Sorry.
Once we crack 80, it's a wrap.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Shout out to Carl. I think he said something was like 40 the other day.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
Not really sure. But for me... the puppy is here. We have officially have Don Cuddles. Isaiah, please put pictures and videos and all that great stuff of Don Cuddles. He has arrived. He is good. He is healthy. He is chubby because I keep feeding him all these different snacks. He's running my life. It's great. It's fine. I have a doggy seat. I can understand. So here's the problem. Here's the problem. Remember, I think I said last episode or the episode before that where I was like, no stroller, none, won't do it. And then my man doesn't like walking. And I like walking. So, needless to say, the thought is there. The followers have already been like, get the dog a stroller, but I refused to because I said I wasn't going to. So, little by little, I'm hoping every day we walk a little bit more. We do a few more things. It's work in progress. It's a work in progress. But we're here. The dog is here.
Congratulations. Yeah. I seen.
I guess.
I seen. Yeah, no, I was gonna say we're definitely officially in the same season now, but no, I seen. I don't know. You just look mad different ever since the puppy arrived. This is gonna be special. So yeah, I'm excited for you for sure.
Oh yeah, the doggie's so dope. So dope. I would show, but it's pretty late when we're recording this, and so I'm trying to make sure he has a little schedule, but I could already hear him a little whining. But it is what it is. Let's get into this episode. So we are going to be talking about the What's Poppin' section. And this segment is sponsored by Deeper Than the Brand, the #1 content branding community that shows you how to confidently and authentically build a brand, grow a social media presence, and build digital wealth. Go to deeperthanthebrand.com for more information, please, and thank you. So, YouTube is officially getting rid of one of their features. Now, this feature has been alive since 2018 and took the same approach as Snapchat, took the same approach as Instagram, Reels, but has the same funeral as Twitter and LinkedIn. And what I'm talking about is YouTube Stories. Yes. YouTube Stories is officially going away. According to people in YouTube, today there are many ways to create on YouTube, from community posts to shorts to long form and live. To prioritize these key features, stories are going away. Starting on June 26, 2023, the option to create new YouTube stories will no longer be available. Stories that are already live on that date will expire 7 days after they are originally shared. So, what does this mean? It doesn't really mean anything. Stories wasn't necessarily one of those super key features on YouTube. Stories is big on Instagram, Facebook. You could say, what's on TikTok? It's kind of lit over there. But as other platforms have tried to duplicate that, it hasn't truly been successful. Like I said, one of the latest ones that had also died with stories was LinkedIn. Everybody tried it. Every platform has pretty much copied one another with their features. Now, with the evolution of social media, and as platforms are really trying to identify what makes them different and what will, take care of the creators more, if they're going to prioritize shorts, long form videos, and community posts, let's not just put random resources to something that they don't necessarily care about and they won't be able to monetize. What I found very surprising was the community post, that they're going to actually put more emphasis on it. And from me knowing that now, we're going to put more emphasis on it. And for those people who don't know what community post is, think about it like status updates, like on Facebook and on Twitter, but just for YouTube. There is a community tab on all channels, and it's actually going to be available for all channels starting this week. So you can now give different status updates, polls, pictures, links to your videos, everything that you would want to do to communicate with your community. You could do it on the community tab. So as of June 23, there is no longer YouTube stories. Rest in peace. We didn't use them that much anyways. So thank you for your services, I guess. I don't know. But Moose, what we got on the business side?
Man, this is, everyone who is a follower of DJ Khaled, you have been watching him go absolutely crazy with the game of golf. Let's go golfing, right? We could go golf or let's go golfing. I think he is one of the funniest people on Instagram, but truly a genius marketer. So first, the headline, Tiger Woods and his business partner of Tomorrow Sports add Justin Bieber and DJ Khaled as investors to the TGL Golf League that's starting next year, right? Now, what does this mean? We saw that DJ Khaled got the front cover of a magazine called Golf Digest, where he dove a little bit deeper into, his love for the game. But first off, you saw DJ Khaled just out of nowhere explode with his interest in the game of golf, taking golfing lessons. He did this huge golf tournament, or not a tournament, I should say a match between him and Steve Stout for a ton of money. They went all out and it went crazy, right? And from the matching watches to the J's to everything. And he brought a ton of interest to the game of golf. P. Diddy went golfing with him recently. Now, at some point, especially I was checking the comments, people were saying, okay, who's paying this man for him to be so invested in golf so much? Like, what's happening? And then out of nowhere, this shows up, all right? Now, just briefly, the TGL is a brand, or really a league, that Tiger Woods and his business partner are building together, where they're going to bring tech advancements to the game of golf so that they can partner with the PGA Tour and bring more visibility to the brand, right? Or visibility to the game in general. But the one lesson that I want us to take from this, because it's cool news, right, and all that, but really the way I broke it down is sometimes as a business person, as a brand, you have to build interest before introducing the product, right? DJ Khaled could have very easily stepped out and said, I'm going to bring together this golf tournament or league with Tiger Woods. He's the greatest golfer of all time. You guys might have known him, might have not, but this is what we're doing. Let's start playing golf and getting into it. But instead, every single day for what feels like maybe 2 or 3 months, he's out here playing golf. He's introducing you to the game. He's posting his journey, his experience, him practicing, him playing, his friends, starting to influence even some of his other friends to get into the game. And then out of nowhere, he introduces the partnership, which I think will be the first of many. But that was a key lesson. I just sat back and said, man, another brilliant marketing move by DJ Khaled. He does it again. Sometimes you have to raise the interest or increase the interest and then bring forth the product. So yeah, kudos to Brother Khaled over there, man. Phenomenal.
Another one.
Shout out to Khaled. He's always reinventing himself somehow, some way. So shout out to Khaled.
Another one.
Yes, sir. But let's get into Creator of the Week. This is a very special creator, okay? So been a bit active ever since it came home, right? Mm-hmm. Everything from doing remixes to unboxings to potty training and having voiceovers and things like that. If you're wondering who the Creator of the Week is, it is none other than Don Cuddles. Yes, the dog has an Instagram. The dog has a TikTok. And people are loving the content. Not gonna lie. So We're showing different views from napping all the time to yelling in the back of the car for no reason to not really listening during training, but showing just the evolution of the dog and how it's growing to have its own personality. And the content's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty cute. And
agree.
I'm doing it. That's why. I'm doing it. That's why. I'll do it. I'll do it. So, but no, I think it's pretty cool for the simple fact that, you know, one, it's happening from scratch, but two, you know, branding a animal is definitely different than a human. You actually just have fun. You don't necessarily care about it being perfect because the dog's not perfect. And you're not caring about all these other things. You're just trying to capture different moments. And it makes it understand the importance of just grabbing moments as human being as well. Like, why does it work for a dog and not work for us? And it's because, one, there's no care and no judgment, to where some people may feel judgment and care and, oh, I look crazy, this, that, and the third. I mean, with a dog, it's, you want to see the dumb moments. You want to see the sleepy eyes. You want to see the random stuff. So, creator of the week is Don Cuddles. Go follow him everywhere at Don Cuddles. Moose, how you feel about Don Cuddles?
Big bot. Listen, man, I saw the content, and I was like, yo, Nicky is really going in on making this a consistent, growing thing. So I was like, I'm down with this movement. I'm a follower. I'm in.
Yay! Yep, we had some really fun reacting ones this weekend. We're going back to voiceovers. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, people. It's going to be great. Yeah. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of things, which is the blueprint, okay? And crazy enough, we've covered the creator economy quite a few times in a very high light of things, right? Now, I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this creator, I think his name is Christopher Claffin or whatever. I messed up your name. Know my heart. I'm bad with names, right? But what we always cover is different variety of ways to monetize as a creative entrepreneur. Those people who have to create content, whether just because they're content creators or they're business owners that have to be content creators. And so one of the ways is like, okay, get paid on the platforms, these views, these brand deals and sponsorships. Well, he has a different view of how the creator economy, especially when it comes to the content side, isn't what you think it is.
Millionaire content creators won't tell you this, but I'm going to. The easiest and most profitable way to monetize your account or your following is to have a business tied to the back end of that account and the reach that it has. The truth about social media and the people who are good at it, who are good at making money from it, is that the real money isn't in brand deals and it's not in views. Many platforms like this one don't pay you for views. Other platforms like YouTube are well known for the amount of money that people get paid for views, but that's still not most high-end creators' primary source of revenue. The big money is in funneling your traffic towards a business that you have running on the back end that could exist without those channels on social media. And your favorite creators, the biggest ones in the world, understand this. And this is something that so many creators with literally millions of followers don't understand, and they struggle as a result. I personally know dozens of creators who have millions of followers or have generated billions of views on apps just like this one, yet they're struggling financially because you don't get paid for views. In order to make it in this business, you have to be good at creating content and you have to be a half-decent entrepreneur at the very least.
So I know this reaches Moose's heart. He's like, yeah, see, I told you this the whole time. What you talking about? Moose, what is definitely your take on this?
I know it's crazy. I was watching a video on Samir and Khaled. I have to remember this guy's name. I was just looking it up actually. And we spoke about him. I forget his name right now, but we spoke about him. He was a football athlete. He was headed to the NFL, but left that dream because his YouTube was making way more.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I got to look it up. But he was talking with them about how much he was making from YouTube. And it's funny because they compared the top YouTubers, they compared them to professional athletes because they were saying the percentage of YouTubers or people on YouTube that make that kind of money, it's the same percentage of people who play sports and end up making it to the pros and get like big league contracts. It was like, yo, it's really almost the 1% type of thing. It's the same thing that's applicable here. It's also applicable there. And because he came from both worlds, they made that comparison. But, you know, I think the one thing to really dive into here about this clip especially is that as a creator, you do the most difficult thing that the minute you can make the connection to business, you'll realize that it's very easy to just put a foot in there as well and start developing a product or service so you can monetize directly instead of relying on the platform to do it for you. And really what you're doing through your content is earning the trust of the audience. Brands are partnering you specifically for that reason. They see that, yes, you have a skill set, you're incredibly creative, you're putting out great content. All of those are incredible, and that's probably where views will help and get you paid. But in addition to that, when you talk specifically around brand sponsorships, they're reaching out to you because they know that you can help move the needle in either selling products or bringing attention to the cause that they want to highlight. Now, the minute you start to see that as a creative, oh, they're really coming to me, yes, for my skill set, but in addition to that, it's because I have the attention and the trust of my audience. That's what gives you longevity in the space of being an influencer or a creator. And so once you see that main thing right there, that's the key ingredient in developing a business. It's in being able to build a large base of customers or even a small base of customers. Really depends on what price point or what industry you're in. But once you know that that's there, and then you have the trust of those people to follow through and actually buy from you, you don't have to rely on other companies. Now, I know there are some things that are a little bit more difficult or it's less attractive when you have to ask for the sale as opposed to say, oh, I got sponsored or this brand reached out or you're just doing what you love. I know it's a little uncomfortable having to ask people for the sale, but at least you know you can have more control over your income and not have to see any crazy drop-offs after you build a lifestyle that is of that caliber. I think that's the tough part there.
See, I like when you geek out. It's great. It's great. So if for those people who that may have went over the head, all he's saying is, nah, nah, boo, boo, I told you. You know what I mean? Nah, nah, boo, boo, I told you. I told you, okay? These little coins you get for views is nothing. So I think it is a matter of just making sure that you have multiple ways to have income as a creator, right? Now, as we look at those that we've gone over on our podcast and then just some of the top, let's say, YouTubers, TikTokers, anybody, Instagrammers, whoever is making money, 9 out of 10 times, they do venture off to some type of their own business, right? Content creators eventually turn business owners. Business owners turn into content creators, but content creators eventually turn into business owners. Why? Because it's just smarter to possibly have 100% of the profit than rather than 10, or rather than a quick payout. So And plus you have more control. I'm big on that per se, where brand deals can come and go. The platform can act real funky, and what you may be relying on can definitely dip crazy. It happened to us on our YouTube channel, right? But when you own the product, when you have the service, when it is your business, the energy that you put towards it is what's going to determine what comes into your bank account. You don't have to sit and wait to see if it works. You go put in the work. You build the storyline. You get people interested. You give the call to action. You showcase it in your content. Now you're integrating it into your own stuff and not necessarily always being like, hey, I got this and this is where you can sell it. Like if you have merch, you're just wearing it. If you have a sports drink, a alcoholic beverage, you're just drinking it during your content. You're now incorporating it into where people see it as a lifestyle and want to be part of it. You started a pizza spot and now you're going to always create content at this pizza spot. Some people are just want to go to the pizza spot.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So the business owner part, to be an entrepreneur. Now, granted, here's the thing. We always go and say, not everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And we've covered multiple times, and I've even been talking about where as a creator, it's the business side is a struggle sometimes. So I have to create content as well as understand ROIs and P&Ls and all this. Like, I don't want to know any of this, right? I just want to create. I love what I do. I'm creating all this content. Let me be. But for it not to be a starving artist or a starving creator, you have to play the game. You have to have some type of ownership with maybe a service. Maybe you're showing people how you became a content creator, right? Maybe you have products. We can go back on what Master P always says. It's like product doesn't talk back. Like Snoop Dogg said this recently. He's like, especially when you're thinking about a team and everything like that, product doesn't talk back. It just makes you money. It's just there to make you money. It's not going to give you an attitude. It's not going to do, you're going to showcase it. It's going to sell. You're going to ship it. And no attitude, right?
Yeah.
I think every creator should look into owning something. Look into creating a business. And if that's not your thing, partnering with somebody who can. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that every creator needs to just do this solo dolo. We look at the great creators and they all have teams. They all have teams. I can't intelligently say that they all run that particular business. They may just be the face.
Yep.
That's it. I need your influence, your impact. I'll take care of the rest of building out these different franchises. You're good. Don't worry about that. You are the creator. You're going to make the storyline. You're going to, and that's what's great about content creators, creative people who are going into business is that they have a better understanding of branding because they can instantly do storytelling. For the most part, I will say that, for the most part. If you know how to tell a story, you know how to brand. And if you know how to brand, then it will sell. That's how I look at things.
Yeah.
If you just have a really good product, really good service, but you don't know how to storytell and allow people to understand that they are the main character of this story, that the villain is their pain point, that you are there to guide them through the things, and that the product or the service is going to create the transformation that they need, you're just another product and service if you don't know how to say all that. You're just another product and service that won't necessarily scale, because how are you showing that you're different?
Mhm.
So even with so from a personal experience, we've been working on this merch situation. So this is why you may be seeing some things with like the creator. I'm a creator, build digital wealth. But now it is more of, how do we make it into an experience and not just merch, right? So that it kind of goes along side by side with my creative side.
Mhm.
So for my creators out there, don't feel as if you just, oh, I gotta do the regular smegular business stuff. You still are able to brand it and shape it in the way that makes you excited, right? So if you have, if you do digital products, if you sell, merchandise, cards, sports drinks, whatever, you still have to make it make sense for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And don't just go to, oh, I gotta be, Nicky and Moose said, I gotta get a business now. I'll sell phone cases just like how Moose did before. And that's not your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and you started at probably the most important component by saying it's okay if it's not common to you. Just get with somebody who does, or get somebody who is comfortable having those conversations. But yeah, I think the big takeaway here is you're doing the most difficult part already.
Mm-hmm.
You're already involved and carrying the larger part of the weight. Now, the other business side, from an outside, we look at it as, okay, it's more technical. It's almost like dressing down and dressing up. Yeah, dressing up requires a little bit more work. It looks sophisticated. It might even be a little intimidating, but you're doing the biggest part of it as a creative. Like you're the designer in this case, right? So I think just starting to get comfortable and seeing yourself in that role to some capacity is going to open up the doorway. And we've said it on some episodes in the past where we said every why person needs a how person, right? That's the natural fit. So yeah, I
or you're
love
gonna
that.
struggle. Or you're gonna struggle. I will say that.
Unfortunately, yeah, I think you could still get a start in business as a great storyteller. You probably won't scale like to a very, say, large operation, smoothly running, and all of those things. You could still start though, because I see it all the time with great storytelling, as you mentioned, capturing people's hearts and attentions in a way where people just want to support. They don't care for the incredible customer service and all those things. They can almost wait on some of that because they just want to support the movement or the person. And then eventually when it becomes a full-blown business, that's where I think customer expectation comes in, and you're forced to make the pivot into, all right, let me get an operator. Let me get someone who can really run the day-to-day, who can help me turn this into a full-fledged business. But yeah, I think just bare minimum, starting with, oh shoot, if I'm already doing half the work, then why not bet on me? That's a great start.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that maybe, I won't say all creators, I'll say some creators may struggle with when it comes to a business thing is trusting the vision to others, right?
Like
So
handing it to somebody else, you're saying?
like
Yeah.
so okay, got it. I gotta create a business, or I have this thing that I can create something with. Cool. I need a team. Great. Now with content creators, for the most part, in the beginning, until you extremely scale like Mr. Beast kind of vibes, you could create on your phone. You're editing on your phone. You're editing on your laptop. Like, you have more control of the vision and how it comes out, right? As you now grow a business, it's like, hold on, I gotta share this vision, and then I'm hoping that you know what to do with this. Oh man, this, so that I would ask you, like, how, because I'll be honest, I've gone through it, ups and downs with it myself, right? But from you being more on the business side of things, what can help connect creatives going more into that entrepreneurship role when it comes to sharing their vision to a team and making sure that it stays on course?
Yeah, I mean, just be prepared to repeat yourself. And
Golly.
knowing that repeating yourself, it's like, just be
That is the
prepared. I'm
worst.
going to be honest.
Make sure you can repeat yourself over and over again.
Yeah, no, because I'm just saying, and I'm just saying that, and the reason why I'm saying it really is because just because you have to repeat yourself doesn't mean it's not working. I think there's the frustration of, but I already told you this. Right. Yeah, but I love that example of saying, expecting someone to see your vision is like taking off the glasses that you use to read and giving it to them and say, all right, here, use these so you can see. It's like, no, but this is not my prescription. I can't see with your glasses. So you really have to help almost train me to see through your lens and through your perspective so that I can start gathering some insight as to what are we really after here. And I never really understood the importance of a vision until recently, where I realized that I have to step into a role to some capacity where I'm now being the visionary and not just the business person. Like, yes, you're doing business, but on top of it, you have to communicate a vision to people who are involved, because if there's no vision for people working on a project, they easily check out. They almost forget us. It gets boring to them. No one wants to feel like what they're doing is just plain work. And so I've noticed in that process, the repetition, there's a reason why a mission statement is on the wall at all times. Mm-hmm. You could say, oh, we already said it, so why paint it on the wall, or why leave it hanging as a photo or whatever? It's because it needs to be repeated. It needs to be really regularly seen for people to start believing and understanding what's the culture like, or what is this about. So I know it may sound a little frustrating, but I do feel that as a creative, most creatives get frustrated in having to repeat themselves because, as you mentioned, especially when you're talking about something like content, you don't have to tell that to anyone. You're the creator, so what you see, you can do, you can bring to life on your own. So now to get to a point where your creation is limited in the sense that you have to put it in somebody else's hand to bring to full fruition, I know that's tough. But I think the repetition of communicating what it is and why it's important and how those involved will benefit and really planting that long-term seed, I think it plays a big difference. And I always give you credit for that. I say you've done a phenomenal job in really standing in the toughest of times to say, I'm in this for the long haul. All right, this is an L, not happy with how it went, but it's okay because I'm in it for the long haul. And so over time, when you're working with someone who's showing that type of example, they inspire you to want to, bare minimum, match their efforts. Right? Like I could say that about me. I didn't really think about myself ever being in podcasting or content or social media, anything really. I knew I had a heart for what we were doing, and that's all I cared about. And my business experience or even just know-how, I never even connected them together. And it wasn't until seeing your dedication and your consistency to the podcast and sharing the reviews and doing the content and doing this, it's like, damn, it's difficult to be average or not as invested when you're working with someone who's super invested in something. Mm-hmm. So I think you could also think about it from a sense of you could either share the vision or act on the vision. It's like there's two types of leaderships, right? Like you could share, you could be the talker, you could be the great communicator who just inspires through your words. Or you could be a person who's just about, they lead by example. They just do. And those who get it will eventually follow suit and say, okay, yeah, nah, I can't just let her be out here like this on her own, right? Like I want to match my effort. I want to at least try and attempt to get accustomed to being on camera or get passionate about podcasting or understanding where's the opportunity here and what we're after, in the grand scheme of things. So that's what I will say. It could be frustrating, but I think that's definitely the way to get those two people together.
We will definitely continue this on the after show. I have so many follow-up things. But in the talks of being a business owner, creative entrepreneur, I think there's one topic that we all have struggled with, which is pricing.
Yeah.
Okay. How to price ourselves. Is it too expensive? Are we underpricing ourselves? What are we doing? And both me and Moose were watching Diary CEO, and they had this guest, Rory Shutterland.
Sutherland.
Shutterland. Something like that. Yep. Know my heart, right? And he was talking about how pricing creates trust, and us underpricing ourselves can make our audience not trust us. So listen to this.
A very big difference between cheap strawberries and pick your own strawberries. Now, pick your own strawberries are cheap, but there's a narrative as to why they're cheap, which is I put into some of the effort into the harvesting of the things, and I have to go out into a field and pick the things myself. Cheap strawberries, by contrast, may create some degree of uncertainty because you look at the market and go, well, if these strawberries were really good, why wouldn't they charge full price for them? What's wrong with this? And so quite often, sometimes you have to make things more expensive to make them trustworthy.
At this moment, I would like for you to raise your prices. Okay? Raise your prices. Raise your prices. So, I think this is such a needed and sometimes difficult topic, because when you hear people tell you things like, okay, one, know your worth, price yourself as your worth, don't ever try to battle it with prices. Like you get nothing out of it when you are trying to go the cheap route to get to get the audience. But then you worry as possibly a beginner or middle aspiring entrepreneur of, am I overpricing? I know I have to price myself at a decent price, but am I overpricing? Because what qualifies me to get this price where, okay, the average will, the common advice is okay, look at the average market, look at your experience and kind of gauge it in that kind of way. Okay, great. Like, I'm still not sure if it's going to work. I don't know. I do like how he placed it as far as one is kind of like a do it yourself. And then the other one is like, it's already done for you. You don't want to have to do it yourself and do it for you pretty much the same price or to do it for you cheaper. That's what I definitely got out of that. I was like, very, very true. So where some people, I could look at it from an educational standpoint where some courses cost $1,000, your one-on-ones cost $100. How?
Yeah.
How? If some of the stuff, let's, and I know I've made that mistake of in the very beginning. Oh, you get me on the phone for like $20.
That'll be $8.
You know what I mean? You get me on the phone. That's not the case now. Don't you dare. Okay? But you try. You get me on the phone $20. For a whole month, it was like $100 or something. There you go, 100. Cool.
Wow.
Right. Thought I was like, I'm on the
Doing
phone.
it.
Yeah, right. I'm getting paid to talk.
Yeah.
Give me that. Right? Then, life happens and experiences happens and it's like, oh no, this makes no sense at all. That it actually, one, when you price yourself super low, you attract super low clients. That requires a whole crap load out of you for the value price.
Yeah.
Which is wild, which I never understood that. Like, why are you so demanding at $20? Right? Where you price yourself up, you get less headaches. You may not get so many clients because now the price went up, but you get targeted audience. You get the ideal audience. That's the one that will actually use the product, use the service, will get transformed by it. All because they understand for this price, I'm getting the exact result from an educational standpoint, motivational, entertainment standpoint. I'm getting the exact thing that I need. Shout out, as we've spoken before, the Drake tickets. Okay. The Drake tickets. If Drake was to do it for $100, I don't know how good this concert would be.
Actually true.
And here's the thing, based out of his experience, if he's been in the game for so long and he gives the $100 tickets, how good is this concert? That plays a part. Like, I can understand. I have a heart. Let's not say I understand. I have a heart for the very beginning people trying to figure it out. But if you got some skin in the game,
Yesterday's price is not today's price. He's certified.
and I'm talking about like years, and you still out here on some, we can do this for 100, we can do this for 200. And like, if you're still on that, oh no, your brand value is down. Brand value is down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I will say, and I know this is not the this or that piece, but for some reason, as you were kind of expanding on it, I got more ideas to really break this down from a slightly different standpoint, because I don't want people to take this at face value and just instantly increase their prices. Now, I will say this. Most businesses are underpriced. It's
Yes.
the truth. Most businesses, especially people in service-based businesses, you're probably underpriced. I'm not gonna lie.
You're probably
You're probably underpriced. Yeah, you're probably underpriced. And
you're probably underpriced.
and the reason for it is because we mentioned this sometime before, that when it's creative, there's not the known variables that exist in a business that is a commodity, or a product like a commodity, like a strawberry, like coffee, right? There are certain costs that are associated with those types of businesses, and more specifically, those types of products. That's just relative known information. Not the consumer may not know about it, but those who are dealing from, what do they call it, seed to fruit or something like that, or from the farm to the supermarket, the people involved in that chain of commands, they understand the common prices. So you can't really jack prices too much or undercut prices too much, because there's some level of know-how. Go for it.
Wait, but I will say, I saw, of course, on social media, for ice
TikTok.
cream, right? For ice cream, there is a like $6,000 ice cream.
Shut up.
I promise you.
Is it really? Wow.
Yes, it has like these
ice
expensive
cream.
truffles and everything. I did see expensive strawberries too, but I can't remember the price. But it gets people curious. It's like the Nipsey, not the Nipsey,
That's true.
the cheesesteak, the $100 cheesesteak. It gets people curious.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
Like, so I almost see when you do crazy prices like that, people are going to want to try to see what. Now you better back it up. Hello.
Then that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
yeah. You
that
better back
piece
it
of
up.
it where,
Because I'm curious. If I had just random money chilling
a
around,
random $6,000, yeah.
random, like I don't need it really, like, why do I have it? I would try this ice cream because I'm like,
No, that
what
sounds interesting.
I mean, it looked like an experience, and this is what I love. It's like, if you are upping your prices, what is the experience that you're giving?
For sure.
Because their
For sure.
presentation and everything was fire. So yes, listen to Moose. Don't up your price just cause, right?
Yeah.
He'll say it's different, but I will at least say, if you up your price, that thing, presentation wise, experience wise, better be white glove vibes, depending on the price. Now you could be like, Nicky, I'm going from 10 to 20. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But let me tell you why I'm actually agreeing with what you're saying, because I'm saying as the price or your cost become known, it's easier to justify the price, right? So if you're saying, let's go to, was it crumble cookies?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, last crumb or crumble cookies? Which one? Because last
what's-
crumb
what's
is the
one with the black box.
okay. That's last crumb.
Okay, so last crumb, excuse me. So let's just go off of face value off of that. Number one, the box itself,
Yes.
the design on the box, the packaging of each cookie. If I knew nothing, I'm going to look at that product and instantly say that's minimum a $6 to $10 cookie. Right? Just because I'm looking off of, well, the material of the bag. I've bought cookies in New York that are just like, they're wrapped, like saran wrap, whatever that is. This is like, yo, here you go.
Here you go. 50 cents.
Quick
Thank you.
quick $2 in a napkin, like there you go. Of course. Now, if you try to sell me that cookie for $100, I'm gonna say, hold up a second. There's nothing in this product or service that shows me there's so much expenses that went into it that made you want to charge that price. But when I look at Last Crumb, yeah, you look at the packaging, it says it. So really what I'm saying is, don't just jump to raise your prices because you heard this segment or you heard this gentleman deliver a phenomenal, delivery on his thought process behind it. Because look, pricing psychology, it's a very real thing. But what I think we need to do, just so that we take it within context, is to really think about the value and what variables are known about the thing that we're selling or the business that we're involved in. That affects how you price and how people respond and believe it. Because if you go out the gate selling a $7,000 product, just because you want it to be $7,000 hoping to pique interest, but no one knows about you, well, you know, part you got to create a little threshold for that. I think, you know, the one experience I always think back to, and I see this regularly, people don't give great reviews, but the experience continues to bring people in, the Salt Bay restaurant or the Salt Bay restaurants.
Yeah.
I was reminded of it because a friend of mine went to Turkey and she shared, you know, being in his restaurant and all this stuff. I mean, and I'm still looking at it, and I'm looking at the guy cutting the steak and looking at her in the eye. I said, bro, that's dangerous. Like, here you go cutting using a sharp knife and staring at the person right in the eye. But that's a phenomenal experience, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, she said, great experience, but the food wasn't all that great.
Yeah, no, food trash.
And it's now become almost a franchise restaurant around the world. They have locations all around the world. They still charge premium prices, but because of that. But I think they still get away with it because it is known that steaks are an expensive product. Now, I bet if you were trying to do that with chicken, he would have been out of business. It's like everyone knows.
They do it with burgers.
Well, no, I'm saying with chicken, because the cost of chicken compared to the cost of red meat and specifically high-end steaks, people know. Like if you go to a steakhouse, you know you're spending $70 to $100 on a steak. So I think he still gets away with pricing that way because his main thing is, you know, the steak and the red meat or whatnot. But if it was a chicken, you know, no one's gonna pay that much for a chicken meal because they
unless
know.
he golds it out. He gold out the steaks and he golds out the burgers.
I can see
that.
Yeah.
If you gold it out, you could
I can see
steak, shrimp, chicken, ostrich, doesn't matter.
But you
Put
see
some
what I'm saying?
salt on
Like,
that joint.
Yeah, the price of chicken, let's price per pound. The price of chicken per pound is going to be less than $10 a pound. This is on the super high end.
Now I want to know what the most expensive chicken plate is.
That's an interesting question. I'm just saying I've never seen a $100
We're gonna
chicken
find it,
plate.
people.
Somebody's going to, of course, bring it up. Moose.
We're going to look. Isaiah pulled it up right now. He pulled it up for the video experience right now. I'm gonna find it. We're gonna find the expensive chicken. But I agree with you on that because Roof Chris is another one, right? Roof Chris is known for how they come out with the steak, super sizzle. You don't want to touch it and let it sizzle for a little bit and then finally eat it. And then it's just like, I like the creme brulee more. I like the calamari more. I'm not, I go to Texas Roadhouse for steak. You feel me? Like, but you're paying for the experience. I did do Salt Bay. And it was a great experience. It was bad. Not bad, but it just, I wouldn't do it again.
Right.
You feel me?
Same.
It's like one of those
it's
things.
It's nice to just say you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just those things. What was it? I wouldn't necessarily say some people do it for a flex. Some people are just more of like, what is this about? Let me experience this. Those $1,000 tomahawk steaks and all that whole situation. Was it in the Maldives? They have the underwater restaurants. Like you don't pay for the food. You pay for the experience.
100%.
Yeah.
But you also associate with, if this restaurant is underwater, they must have spent X amount of dollars to build it. And so you're almost prepared to pay more because there are known variables within the experience that let you know this cost more. That's like the main thing I'm saying. And so for you as a brand or a business, put on display known variables that are of premium quality, so people can't question, well, why is your thing 10x? If I'm a let's just say this, if I'm a videographer and I'm shooting from my phone and I say my prices are $10,000 an hour, right? And you're just like, okay, cool. Like, let me see your equipment. You're like, I bet, let's go. It's right here. Versus I say I'm a videographer and I pull out the red one. And I'm like, yeah, so here's immediately, I'm not even a videographer, but I know about the red one. Like that I know that's like a high-end camera. So if I were to see that, I would at least want to listen to, all right, now let me entertain this because they got the red one. That's the top of the top.
I mean, perception is everything.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And it's known. It's known that this is one of the most premium or prestigious cameras in the industry. And so if someone is dealing with that, you expect the price to automatically be higher. But if there are unknown variables or there are no known variables that display premium tier quality pricing or just top of the line things in general, it's difficult for the audience or the marketplace to believe your price point as something valid because they see no evidence around that show that kind of quality. So that's the part that I wanted to add in there. Just like within context, don't raise the price for the sake of raising the price. Display value, add value, so that when you bring that price point to the market, people are like, okay, I'll rock with you. And then also, who else just got hungry, like talking about tomahawk steaks? Low key, I'm like, yo, this thing just made me hungry. Yeah.
No, but yeah, let's end the conversation. Let's end the conversation because I was going to go more into food experiences, but let's just end that particular conversation. Let's get straight into this or that because this conversation is going to be really dope because I want to see once again. Moose is just on a roll this episode. Yeah, y'all better clip up all the Moose things. I'm just gonna be. Yep, this is great. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, what he said. I don't know what. Yep, but let's get into this or that. And this segment is sponsored by the Flight Assessment. FlightAssessment.com. Discover your personal superpower and learn how to use your superpower to become a master communicator, strengthen your relationship, and develop the self-awareness you need to fulfill your highest potential. Go to flightassessment.com. It will change your life. Moose, what are we talking about on this or that?
Yeah, so this is so interesting. This shout out to Tyreek Hill. He just started a new podcast and he had Brandon Marshall on the podcast. And so during the end, of course, they started to talk about the breakup with I Am Athlete and they were going through what really happened. But Tyreek Hill has a co-host who is his attorney and his business partner in the podcast or in some of the different businesses that they work on together. And he shared a perspective that I think a lot of us need to hear and really digest. But he was basically breaking down, are 50-50 deals the most fair deal for us to think about? Like, is that deep? Is that the ideal situation? So let's take a listen first.
Like you said, you gotta take the emotion out of anything when you're dealing with business.
Right.
Whenever you put your emotion in the business or money, you're gonna lose out. But it sounds like to me in that situation, and it's open for debate, discussion, however, is that if this is my baby and I'm building this consistently, repeatedly every day, I'm losing money on it, I'm investing, I'm making money on it, but I'm handling all the business operations and it's my creation. Even without a contract, to me, it's just like, there is no four-way split. Why would I say, give me 50% of this, Tyreek? Why? When I know the back story, you know what I mean? So I get that because it's not emotional. You know what I mean? It's business. We on business calls all the time.
Right.
I get it. It's business. It's not emotional. It's emotional because I love doing it. But when it comes to the business, ain't no way in hell, hey, bro, I need 50 of this. I'd be a damn fool.
Yeah, I thought this was so interesting because, you know, when we did the episode on each of our stories, one of the things that I said in mine was, I think it's more important to play a bigger game. And an extension of that was to really dive into this idea of what we deemed valuable. Now, I think a lot of us come from these experiences or upbringings where 50-50 is what's fair, because it puts our value at equal pieces. But when you start playing a bigger game, and I love how Brandon Marshall broke this down, he said, let's say you come from a really good job and you're making $250,000 a year, you got benefits, you got all the security, and I present you with a new opportunity. It's not 50-50. It's way less. But as we reach our benchmarks, you're going to get 400,000 and you're going to say get increased benefits over time or increase return from the profit share over time. That is a better deal. And so I really wanted to dive into this topic and break down, are we as a community after 50-50 deals because of wanting to keep value the same, or because we miscalculated value in terms of what's really important? Or are 50-50 deals really the best way to make things work? I got to be honest, I'm having a change of heart in how I'm evaluating all of this. And I'm seeing, I don't know that 50-50 deals, like I actually agree with what old boy said. I don't know that 50-50 deals really make sense for a lot of opportunities or a lot of businesses, especially when it's not an original creation or it's not your original creation, right? And so, and mind you, I'm also a business person who, in the beginning of the episode, I could easily argue, well, you know, the why and the how person and the creator needs the operator and yada, yada, yada. I could go on that all day, but at the same time, I'm just seeing it. If we start thinking more about the bigger picture, and this for everybody listening and watching, we should start really evaluating opportunities based on the bigger picture, less about, oh, now I want to have so that we can be equal in value. So I actually don't question my value. And so as a result of it, I'm going to evaluate the opportunity from a logical standpoint, no emotion, and pick the stance that provides the greatest level of return in what is the best way forward. So that's my take on that. I'm curious to hear your take. I know there are benefits to 50-50, especially from a legal standpoint. We can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, in just pure evaluation of opportunity, I don't know that 50-50 is always the best thing.
I think 50-50 is proper if there's 50-50 work. It's 50-50 sacrifice, right? But 9 out of 10 times, that is not really the case, right? Now, thinking on it in a different sense of whoever has I look at it like whoever has the least amount is actually winning. The reason why I say that is because in certain cases, right, there are some outliers that you are paid the smallest percent and you're doing most of the work.
Yeah.
That's another topic, right? But for those that are done properly, the ones that have the lower percentage or maybe just a payout or whatever have it pretty good. Like, you still, do some of the work, but the whole responsibility really isn't on you. You still get a cut of the amazing part about it, right? You're still, your likeness and name is still there and that whole nine, and you're living good, right? I would go for, give me 30. No problem. Give me 10. Give me 20. I'm cool, right? I'm cool. One, because I'm going to support as much as I can, but it still allows me to do other things where the person who has maybe majority of the percentage is the birth person. Like that it's your baby. So you got to put extra things down and make sure everything is there. So it's like for those people who are doing different business ventures, I'm not going to want 50-50 on everything. That sounds exhausting. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's one or two things that I'm going to be like, okay, percentage wise, right? But even I'm in a situation now, and for those people who are thinking, I'm not talking about me and Moose, okay? So let's take that out. But I'm in a situation now where it is 50-50, and I'm looking at it like, how, Sway? I'm looking at you now like, how? Like, okay. Of course, you think like, value-wise, we're in it together, boom, boom, boom. But I'm like, oh, I'm stressed out for no reason. This is retarded, right? Makes no sense. So it's having big boy, big girl conversation, big people's conversation to realistically look at roles, responsibilities, goals, time needed, that whole nine, like, and be realistic. Like, yes, we want the benefits of having the 50-50. We want the benefits of and the good parts about the 50-50, but people don't really talk about the realistic side of the 50-50.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, but
The work and the sacrifice that is with the 50-50. And if it goes crazy, the potential of a bad relationship, a bad business venture. Like, I think it increases the risk of, how do I say this? Of ruining that business partnership. Because now you're looking at it like, but are you really doing 50-50? But like, no, for real. Like, for like 9 years, I've been doing this. Like,
yeah,
are you sure? Come on. Like, so that's how I look at it. I do believe if you are in that entrepreneur way, I do believe there does need to be at least one thing that you do have majority of the percentage of, right? Especially if it is your ideas, your investments, I do believe in that. But on the other ones, oh, please, get a percentage that is fair to you, fair, not ideal, fair to you, and allow your life to be your life.
yeah.
Like, I just look at it like that. The more percentage you have, the more work that either you have to do or others look at you to do.
Oh yeah, it's an expectation. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the big thing that I definitely want to highlight here, and you know, B. Marshall talks about it in the episode. He literally says, if I could go back and redo it, is I would have those same tough conversations, but with a greater deal of professionalism. I wouldn't get out of pocket. I wouldn't be disrespectful. I wouldn't be loud. And so really what I'm saying here is, you saw the clip started with, there is no room for emotion in business. We're not saying that you shouldn't be passionate about what you're doing, but if you are going to have these conversations, just know that they are uncomfortable conversations. It's common for two people or for one person to feel a greater level of uncomfortableness or dis-ease when they're going to the other party and they're saying, hey, I don't think that you should have equal rights here. Right? That's a very uncomfortable conversation. You need to know that's automatically going to strike some level of defensiveness or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is stay professional, be considerate, and justify your stance, right? It's difficult to start at 50-50 and take a step back from 50-50 because there's more to fight for there, right? You almost have equal leverage in that standpoint. And so it's difficult to take that step back. But I just want these conversations to be more regular because I'm telling you, in a lot of business rooms, this is easy dialogue, right? This is very standard conversation. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a personal attack when you sit down to have these types of discussions and just simply lay out the terms. They actually look at this as, if you care about a relationship or you care about a partnership, you should prioritize these conversations because this poses the greatest risk to separation. And in B. Marshall's case, we literally saw that. They had a phenomenal thing going with the I Am Athlete podcast, and that ended because of the business negotiations. And so if you care about a relationship, you should prioritize these dialogues because that poses the biggest threat to breaking something up. And so this is where I just want people who listen and watch this podcast to get accustomed to, as they're going on about it on their journeys and building and doing incredible things, which we hope you all do, that you're mindful of these things. It's not just about the content and the brand and the business and the sales and all this stuff. That's important. But also when it comes to team, just know that these dialogues are necessary, and don't attach your self-worth to a percentage of a business or a partnership that you're involved in. You could have less than half, and that doesn't mean you're less worthy than the person you partnered with, right? And it takes a level of maturity to arrive at, so that you're in those negotiations and you're not just fighting for 50 just because you want to say, yeah, no, I got 50 of that. Okay, and what's the value of that 50?
Right.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying, as we get to a point of, okay, let's evaluate based on value. Give me 0.0001 of Apple. I'm good. give me like the small, just give me a peck. Like that's value. There's way more value there than saying I own 50% of 123 company. And what do? Nothing, but I own a big share of it. So that's an important dialogue.
Facts. People, hope you enjoyed this conversation. Go check out Creator Ave every Friday, 6 a.m. Every Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern. Go check that out. Follow us on all social media platforms, Nicky and Moose. Shout out to our YouTubers. We're at 15K subscribers because of y'all. We appreciate that. I think over 13K on Instagram. We appreciate that. And Moose, final words.
Let's see, man. I feel like I gave a lot of my words throughout the episode.
Probably did.
Yeah, I'm just gonna repeat what I just said though, for sure. I'm gonna just say, don't evaluate your self-worth based on having equal share of a business. You could have less than half and still be just as valuable.